And hello, everybody. You're live. It's Monday night, April 7th, Sherry Talk Radio. If you got a question for the show, you can send it to SherryTalkRadio@yahoo.com, or you can go to my website at SherryTalkRadio.com and send a question from there. There's a link on the left side. No, so that's that. You know, I've been wondering all week, kind of enjoying the calm before the storm because it seems so much less stressful. But then you wonder exactly what storm's coming, and so you start wondering, what is it you want us to do, Father? Because usually when it's quiet, it's His timing, His reasons. I don't go by man's timing. I try not to get involved with hype. I try not to get involved with everybody else is saying. I never go to other ministries. I never read anybody else's material. I don't listen to the radio shows. I strictly just stay apart, so I can hear the Lord's voice. Because I don't want to get involved with what man is doing, what other people are doing. I don't want to be influenced by that. I just want to hear Him. That's all I want to do. I just want to hear Him. And for the last month, and some of you can attest to this, the Lord seemed to have a timetable in that He wanted His warriors, His Orgone warriors, to stand up and get particular areas. And so I helped as much as I could, and a partner of mine helping as much as we could to get Orgone to these people that the Lord was standing up to get certain areas. And we didn't tell anybody what was going on. You know, I would hear from one person saying, I'm going to go here and do this, and I would hear from another person saying, I'm going to go here and do this. And so I never mentioned to anybody that, for some calculated reason, the Lord was standing up different people at the exact same time to get certain areas done by an exact same time. And so, it seems to be a crunch going on. All those areas, that the Lord had wanted done were done, in the time frame, that I kept feeling in my spirit that He had set. And now there's a different time frame, and people in different countries standing up. I know how this is all going to tie in eventually. He told me he would show me. But it's almost like the icing on the cake right now. It's like the last nail in their coffins. And I'll tell you what, I love hearing the sound of nails in the coffins of the New World Order and this whole alien agenda. Because all the people who refuse to believe that it exists, and all the people employed by the Vatican to be instigators and arguers against the alien and New World Order agenda, are about to take notice that it does exist. I know I'm hearing from people, I see UFOs, and you know what, they've always been there, folks. It's just that they're getting either bold and brazen, or they're losing their cloaking. And that's what I think's happening. I think that as we get more and more Orgone into the atmosphere, that they're losing their cloaking and their ability to hide. And so that's why I think that more and more people are being able to see them. People asking me, I had a question the other day, I saw a UFO hovering above a lake, and wanted to know why this UFO was above a lake. And I told him, you know, sometimes there have been people that have seen hoses coming out of UFOs sucking up water out of our lakes. That's why it's always a big concern of mine about the West being in such a drought. Not only because there's so many underground bases, but there was so many little water sources out relatively in unpopulated areas where water could be taken out of them. I don't know if they run on water, if water has something to do with the way they run and operate, or they're just filling up their storage tanks. But they've been taking water off of the earth for years, and now it's just hitting massive proportions because the West and Midwest to the West is under drought conditions. There's going to be a real problem with water in those southwestern states. 2 years ago I was seeing it. A year ago I definitely saw it again. Just something we haven't even seen here on the East Coast. We seem to have plenty of water here. And so it makes you wonder exactly, because they say it, drought conditions and stuff like that. You know, I see that in the codes. I see drought. and not real sure who's the one behind it, if it's the Lord, if it's man-made, it's natural, if it's being caused. And so that's one of the things I've been looking for is who's causing what, who's doing what. And ultimately, I just have to go with what the Lord leads my spirit into believing, because I haven't been wrong yet when He does that, and I just lean on Him. And so I think that's the biggest part of the problems, is that with the influx of so many more underground bases being built, not just in this country, but other countries around the world, so many more of these aliens, these fallen angels, coming to this earth and hiding in these bases. And that's not because they soak in this water. Aliens need water. Fallen angels need water. And so we're the ones that are going to suffer from that. Another interesting thing, other than just some specific timetables the Lord seems to be setting up, and He's being quiet about exactly why we're on a timetable here. Because when everybody else notices the calm before the storm, many others feeling a sense of urgency to get things done, particular things done. And so we don't always know why there's an urgency, why this has to be done now, and then 3 months later, why did that have to be done in March when it could have been done now or whatever, but it's all in His timing. He actually wanted me to look at a map, a map of the United States, and I'll try to think of the other countries as I'm looking at this, because when I look at a map of our country, you can see that a loop has been made throughout the whole center of this country. Now, I've been on missions for 2 years, off and on, hitting the road on Oregon missions, and many others have as well. And so, when you look at the area that has been focused on the most, you could take a pen almost and just go the whole center part of the United States. Now, we don't know why some of these other places were gotten just to annoy the aliens, just to tick them off. Yeah, probably the whole reason I even went to Salt Lake, because I knew Salt Lake City was a stomping ground of this Sananda, this whole New Age movement. They like the Mormon temple out there. And so I spent about 3 days in Salt Lake just to tick them off and get that whole area. I even got Oregon and Salt Lake itself. But if you look where he hasn't, where we don't have a lot of Oregon done, it's the top areas of the country. And so I do hope the Lord's warriors have been up there. Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota. Do have some in Minnesota, but in Wisconsin, but not enough. Do have some things going on with the northern part of this country coming up. But people always ask me about safe havens, and when things start to hit, when the earth starts to rock like a drunkard, like Isaiah spoke about, most of that is at the second half of the tribulation, when we've already been through martial law, we've already been destroyed as a country pretty much. But the safest places to be, folks, are right there in the Ozarks, right at the borders of Kansas and Oklahoma and Missouri and Arkansas, some of that area to the east or to the west of Kentucky and Tennessee. Stay away from the coast, folks. Nebraska and Kansas and Iowa and Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, the eastern half of Colorado. This is a whole pretty much nestled in area that would be the safest places in the country to be in. And so that's where we've spent a lot of time in those areas. And so if like I believe is that the Oregon would be safe havens for the Lord's people, then those would be the places you go to. You know, I remember just being at Wits End years ago and wanting to establish a safe haven for the Lord's people. And my idea of that was raising funds, getting land, setting it up with food and water and supplies and things like that, a little safe haven for people. But the Lord had different plans. The Lord had us busy with Oregoning areas because the Oregon would serve as protection for people. And it's going to serve as protection from the coming alien invasions that are coming. And people laugh. What alien invasions? And they laugh. But you know what?